What's going on, guys? JD back for the next episode of Blood and Bones, A Sick Man's Tale. And when I left you last, we had just made our Damascus pick. I had shown you the little grass fuse I was running to get grass up here. It's almost arrived. We're getting closer. We started to build the next platform for expansion on our base. I've gotten rid of a majority of the fuse here. We've been downstairs doing some mining. We've gotten our Damascus steel pick edge crusher leveled up to where we can mine steel with it now, so that's awesome. And things are going along smoothly. Don't use the plastic bags that I showed you in the last episode. It turns out that if you shift click items into them, it will consume items at some kind of randomness. Don't know why or how, I just know it's a bad idea. Don't do it. So let's see, what we're going to talk about for the most part in this episode is going to be probably food and cooking and Pam's Harvest Craft, because we really need to start being able to make better foods. One of the important parts, why I saved so much of the water downstairs of Pam's Harvest Craft, is water. Water is used for making salts, it's used for making your flours, it's double used in flour because you need water and salt. So it's just used in a lot of places. And the reason I saved all this water that was down here, and I'll show you right quick if I've got any left. Yeah, I still got plenty of it. Is with a bucket, if you scoop some water, you can get 4 fresh water from the bucket. And that's really nice since we're gonna need a lot of that. So I've already made a whole bunch of this upstairs, and I've cleaned out a majority of the floor back over that I showed you guys in the last episode. Now we'll briefly walk past that, but I need to be careful because I'm a bit low on food as it is, and my hunger's already low. But that'll work out fine for an episode that's going to be all about food. Now right there is some salt. You can still get salt from the environment, and there's salt back over here as well. So you don't have to manufacture your salt, but it does make it a lot easier to be able to manufacture your salt. So I've cleared all this area out of water. I've actually mined on down below there some, and yeah, we've had some adventures since I last saw you guys. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's go ahead and scoop the rest of this water out, and we're going to be making a lot of salt. Whoops, that was a mistake. And I've begun making some stairs to make it a little easier to get up and down out of places so it doesn't consume so much hunger on me. So that's nice. So here's some salt if I wanted to break it off, but we're not going to do that yet. We'll get that at a later time. So let's head back up for right now. Alright, now we've already got a pot made, and we've already got a skillet made, so those will be helpful. And we've got some other things. Where did they go? No, I thought I had one more. No, I got it. There, here it is. So we've got our saucepan, and we've got our juicer. Okay, now we need to eat some food now before we starve, so let's grab some of these. I love these little things because, as usual, like I always say, you could eat them so fast. And that'll get us going, at least for a little bit here. Now, I did start growing some sugar cane in the middle of the field, and I usually do this on all my farms to give myself a good stock of sugar cane. The reason being, we need it for both sugar and we need it for paper. Okay? So let's just come down here real quick to Pam's Harvest Craft, or to the NEI, and we're going to search for Pam's Harvest Craft. These are all of the items associated with the mod. Now, you can see the different tools we've got here. We've got a skillet, which we've already got, a saucepan, which we've already got, a pot, which we've already got. The other tools that we need to make are a mortar and pestle, a mixing bowl, we've already got our juicer, of course, a cutting board, and then there's some other different cool little items here and there that are in this mod. Some of them are, for example, hardened leather, which is made by taking the same patterns, but you take a leather and you mix it with some candleberry wax and it becomes hardened leather. Candleberry wax is obtained from the little green candleberry bushes, like this. Okay, so let's start making these other tools that we need. Let's make a mortar and pestle first. So we need 3 stone and a stick. Okay, we got that. Let's get that out. 3 stone, no problem. Okay, what else are we going to need? We want to make a mixing bowl. That's just 3 wood and a stick. Okay, so let's grab another stick. We'll go find 3 wood in a second. I think I got some in this treasure chest back here. The other thing that we need is this cutting board. And for that we need another stick, a board, and an iron ingot. Okay, I think we can do that. There's an iron ingot. There's another stick. So we need 4 boards at the moment. And then last is right up here, a bakeware. And this is a bunch of clay bricks. Okay, so do I have some clay sitting around? What do you know, right here. Okay, so let's grab 8 of these, and we'll cook those up with a piece of coal. So let's step on over to our furnaces, and let's get our wood as well. We're going to drop the clay in and drop the coal in. That'll cook exactly 8 of those. From in here, maybe I have them in here. Nope, I already used them. Okay, let's clear this. I want to grab 1 log right quick. And I'm going to put this in here. And I'm going to take those out. And I'm going to actually save that recipe for a very specific reason. By saving this recipe, I can now convert my rubber wood, or at least I used to be able to. Maybe I can't anymore. Okay, they've fixed that apparently. I also lied to you guys. You can save recipes once you put it into the backpack slot by hitting Shift B. Once you place your backpack, well, that's not, there we go, into the backpack slot, it does activate the save recipe station. Or button. So we are able to save recipes. Well, I don't really need this one anymore, so that didn't work out the way I'd hoped. But whatever. Okay. Now we needed to make this. And that will give us our mixing bowl, so we'll take that one. Basically the same recipe but with stone, and that will give us our mortar and pestle. We'll take that one. And then we want 1, 1, and 1, and that will give us our, did I get that backwards? Let's try that again. Oh, I think I did get that backwards actually. There we go, and that gives us our cutting board. So we take these and clear this and drop them in like so, and we've now got our bakeware. So going through and looking at Pam's, mayo is made from eggs, so we don't need that. We've got the bakeware. Okay, bubbly water, that's for recipes that we're not messing with right now. We've got the cutting board. This is flour, dough, milk, fresh water. Okay, I don't need any of that. We've got the juicer, ketchup's tomato paste, mixing bowl, mortar and pestle. We've got both of those. I know how to make mustard. I know how to make cooking oil. We've got the pot. We don't need salad dressing right now. We've got a saucepan and we've got a skillet. So we're good. We have all of our cooking devices now. Okay. Well, let's start talking about making some good foods. Now, one of the things that we happen to be producing a good amount of already, if we come over here and check, are potatoes. And this is where potatoes are going to become really useful to us. As carrots, not as useful, but still very useful. Here's why potatoes become useful to us. We can take a potato, and using Pam's Harvest with a mortar and pestle, we can break it down into flour. So let's do that right quick. We're going to take 9 potatoes and turn them into flour. Bam. Now, we can take some salt, which I have some right here, and we'll take 9 of it. And we can mix that salt in a mixing bowl with the flour and some water, and we'll get dough. And that's going to give us 9 dough. Nice. Okay. Now, dough can be used for a variety of things. We can turn dough into pasta. We can put apple and sugar and dough together and make an apple pie, which would give us 2.5 hunger. We can turn it into pumpkin bread, into carrot cakes. We can make a chicken pot pie. There's lots of things we can use dough for if we've got the correct ingredients. Right now what we're going to use dough for is we're going to cook this stuff. And the reason we're going to cook it is because we want to turn it into bread. I think. Let me think for a second. Do I? Yeah. Alright, so let's get some, we've got some wood, right? Yep, right here. So we're going to cook that up. Now, we don't have a lot of other ingredients right now. We can make a few different things. What can we probably make that will go good with what we have right now? Well, I've got fruits, I've got some meat, and I've already shown you before how to make a hamburger. So we know we can take some of those breads in the skillet and make burgers. We've also probably got the stuff now, since we've got cattle up here, to make cheese, because cheese is pretty easy. It's not showing the cheese on there for some reason. I'm not sure why, but we can do cheese. Oh, because that's from Hunger Overhaul. Okay. So cheese is just a pot with milk and salt. Okay, well, we can handle that, I think. Let's take our current bucket. Let's throw it up here. Pull that water out of it. And now let's grab the bucket. And let's go over here to our cow pens. Bam. And let's start milking. And just like with water, we can take this bucket and turn it into 4 buckets of milk. Works very nicely. So we're going to be able to make a bit of cheese here in just a second. So let's milk this guy. And, well, if I could reach him. Milk. And you can actually consume milk, I believe. I'm not positive about that. But that at least gets us started. Okay, so let's dump that milk there. Now we wanted salt, milk, and a pot. And that would give us cheese. We have a bunch of salt back over here. So let's grab 20 of it. We don't need all 20. Because we're not going to use all of it. Let's do 5. In a pot, and that's going to give us 5 cheese. Now the cheese alone is already nourishing. It's going to help us. What nourishing means is it gives you a gold hunger bar rather than just the standard bar. And that's important because gold hunger bars mean you've got better, your hunger doesn't go down quite as quickly. They work kind of like absorption for hunger. Now if we take the skillet and the bread, oh, this has to be double cooked. I don't know what I'm thinking. So this needs to be cooked again and become toast. And we're only going to use 5 of those. The other 4 we're going to pull out. Now what we're going to do with that, the other 4, is something I kind of mentioned before. And that was, if we take this peanut butter and this, and let's get some strawberry right here. So we're going to take the strawberry and we're going to combine it with some sugar, strawberry, juicer, and a saucepan, and that's going to give us strawberry jelly. I've got 2 of those now. And we'll go ahead and we'll make 1 more of those. So another piece of sugar from sugar cane, the strawberry, juicer, saucepan. There we go. So we've got 3 of those, and we've got 3 pieces of bread, or 4 actually, and we've got 3 jars of peanut butter, and we've got a cutting board, and that lets us make PBs and J's, strawberry jelly sandwiches. Now what's interesting about this is that every time we use a jar of peanut butter in a recipe like this, we're going to get back a glass vial. And that's going to be important. I'm going to show you why in just a moment. What's really awesome about this is these PB and J's, they restore 4 hunger apiece, as well as giving us 3.5 nourishment. So it's going to really help us recover quickly. They also do a lot of health. These do a heart and a half of health each. So now I'm fully nourished and I have almost full health just from those 3 PBs and J's. So that's really super helpful. Now why are these glass bottles important? Well, I told you a long time ago that eventually I would show you a workaround that would kind of give you basically an infinite water source. Now if you consider that I got those vials by making peanut butter, which I can grow, right? So there's 2 more peanut butter. And if I had celery, I could make it even easier. I wouldn't have to make the PBs and J's. But you can take that peanut butter. We're going to set that to the side for right now. Okay, so we were able to get peanut butter by growing it. No big deal. Who cares? Okay. Well, there's this recipe that we can do, and I'm going to walk you through it. If you were to smelt sand, you can make glass. If you then take sand and glass in the pattern that you see right here, 2 glass to 2 sand, you'll get sandy glass. If we take this sandy glass and cook it, we're going to get back something new. And we'll use that toast in a minute to make some more yummy meals. So this sandy glass is going to give us thickened glass. Now thickened glass, if we take it with a bronze bar, will give us something very nice. And we made the bronze bar last time by mixing some of our tin and some of our copper. It's a pretty standard recipe for all Feed the Beast. We're waiting on 1 more piece of this sandy glass, and actually I'm going to end up cooking some more because I'm doubling up on this recipe. here we go. Okay, so with what we have, we can take the sandy glass, and I believe the recipe is like this. I could be wrong. It may be a cross. It is. Okay, so instead it's like this. We get a portable tank. Now, a portable tank is important because it holds fluids. Right now it's empty. It holds up to 8 buckets. 8,000 micro buckets means 8 buckets of fluid. And we can pick that up and move that around with us anywhere we want to go. Now, that doesn't seem like a huge thing. You know, whoop-de-doo, it's a bucket. We can put liquids in it. Yay. Okay, let's sit it down for just a second. Now, obviously I can fill it with a bucket. We know that. But here's where it becomes pretty awesome. These vials of glass, we can fill them from a water source, and look, it doesn't take anything out of the water source. I filled all 3 of those from the same water source. Yet, when I put these in the portable tank, that's worth 1,000 micro buckets if you look at the top, which means I can now fill my bucket out of that. And I can put this up here, and I can take 4 buckets of water. So I just pulled a full bucket of water out of this drop of water at the cost of a single glass vial. Since those glass vials were free from peanuts, I effectively have an infinite water loop right there that I can use all I want. Now that's important for several reasons. I can use that to make as much salt as I want for cooking, for example. But even more so, a more important reason is if you were to want to set, eventually we're going to want to start setting up power and machinery and things like that. And to do so, we're going to be doing some stuff in thermal expansion, and we're going to be using dynamos. And the first dynamo I'm going to use is a steam dynamo. Steam dynamos operate off of steam, therefore they need water. Normally we do this by using something called an aqueous accumulator or aqueous accumulator. This recipe has been significantly modified. The machine frame alone is not too difficult. Most of these have an upgraded difficulty in their machine frames in the fact that the machine frames require steel ingots and hepatizon ingots. Those 2 aren't hard. This is just gold mixed with some other stuff. We can get this. It's bronze dust mixed with gold dust. Heptazon is what I was calling it last time, but that's not the correct pronunciation. The problem is getting the stuff for these flue pearls. If we go back to it. So these flue pearls require not only an ender pearl, but flue crystals and more flue dust. The flue dust is not so bad. Certus quartz, nether quartz. We've always been able to make that. Here's the problem. This takes dragon essence. Dragon essence only comes from killing the ender dragon. Therefore, making this right now is pretty far out of the question until we get access to the end and had the ability to kill the ender dragon. So, this becomes a very important workaround for us to be able to keep engines working in a very nice, stable manner. Okay? Let's grab a drink real quick. I'm yawning a lot. Okay, now, we place that tank down. Excuse me. That might not have been a good choice. We need to be able to pick that back up. Okay, well, if we had one more Certus quartz, we could build a wrench, but we don't at the moment. So what other options do we have for wrenches? Well, let's look. Well, actually, let's go back to that thermal. We could try to make the Ingvar battle wrench, but I think that's been disabled, if I remember correctly. So that's not an option for us. Okay, so let's take a look here. Wrench. We've got, the only option is the Certus quartz wrench or this wrench. This wrench comes from enhanced portals. It's not hard to get the 3 ingots. We just need some nether quartz. We could find nether quartz in treasure chests if we were to go do some exploring. And we have some places we could go. But it's probably going to be easier to find that Certus quartz by doing some mining. Okay? So, we now have a way to basically generate infinite water. And that's great. Infinite water means we can make sand. We can use all the different types of crops we've got to make flour, which means we can pretty much make bread when we want to. It's just kind of a more drawn out process now. But we also had some other foods to make here. So we're going to take this skillet and this toast and this raw meat, and we're going to make 5 hamburgers. Boom. Delicious stuff. Now, we're going to take that a step further, and we're going to, these right now are going to give me back 3.5 hunger. We're going to slap some cheese on these bad boys. And that's going to take them up to 4 hunger. And that makes them very yummy. Now, we have a couple of options that we could use this for. We could also make them into bacon cheeseburgers by adding pork or by adding tofu. And that would take it up another half a hunger. Or we can add lettuce and tomatoes, which makes these into a wholesome meal called, a wholesome large meal called the deluxe cheeseburger, which is worth 5 hunger. That's one of the most filling foods in the game. If we make the bacon cheeseburger, and I want to check one last thing. If you take the deluxe cheeseburger and you add a smoothie of any kind and fries to it, you get a feast, which will fully fill you up. Smoothies are easy. It just requires some snow in the same way you'd usually make a fruit juice. The fries are also pretty easy. It's just a potato, bakeware, and salt. And you can make a feast out of each of these. So cheeseburgers will take you a very, very long way in the game. Now we've got lettuce right here. It's ready to go. But we've got no tomatoes. Well, we've got no tomatoes grown. We have tomatoes and they're in the ground. We just haven't had much luck with them. Let's see if we can pop some out right quick. Probably not going to work. It doesn't seem like it wants to grow from this spot for some reason. We're going to move that. Let's move it to somewhere better to grow. Let's move it here. Don't know if that's going to affect it, but whatever. Anyways, we've got cheeseburgers now, glorious cheeseburgers. That's wonderful. Let's put those away. We don't need them at the moment. We can make salt for days. We can actually make lots of things now. We can turn a lot of these things into salads and all kinds of other stuff thanks to what we're growing now. And we have all of our cooking tools. So that's a pretty big deal. I don't know why I have 2 juicers in my pocket, but whatever. We're going to toss one of them out. So we're doing a lot better. And that's pretty much Pam's Harvest Craft. There's a couple of other things I want to talk about inside of Pam's Harvest Craft. And we're going to be looking at these things later. We're just not using them yet. One of those things is the presser. Now, a presser takes 2 pistons and 6 iron ingots. And we want to make one as soon as we can. It's a really cool device. It's basically a machine. And the only problem right now we have is that we don't have any redstone to make the red alloy ingots. But that's okay. We'll get to that soon. The important thing for a presser is that we have soybeans. Once we have soybeans, we can put soybeans into a presser and it will make soft tofu and soy milk. Soft tofu is used in a lot of recipes, and soy milk can be used anywhere that normal milk can be used. But more importantly, if you take soft tofu and put it back into the presser a second time, you get back firm tofu, which is really awesome because firm tofu can be supplemented for almost any meat in any recipe. And it really makes it a lot easier for us to start making crazy amounts of food. So that's kind of a crash course on Pam's Harvest Craft, and hopefully it brings you up to speed and things you may or may not have known about it. But that's it for this episode, guys. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. We accomplished our goals, and I wanted to knock that out so that I could start really delving into my food more deeply without leaving you guys behind in the process. And let me have these. And I also showed you guys, the little tricky tanks here that can be combined together to hold lots of things. And we'll actually be ending up, actually I did have one other thing to show you. These little bad boys. These are called drying racks. I've actually been using these since the start of the game. You make these out of wood. I'll show you the recipe right quick. Of course you make them out of wood, but whatever. Whoops, wrong one. So, okay, so let me show you the recipe. Basically, you take, I'll just make one. Here we go. So, if we take 3 planks, we get 6 jungle wood slabs, or whatever wood type. If we then were to take these 6 and put them in the same pattern, we'll get back drying racks. So there's 2 more drying racks. Now, drying racks are really awesome because you can hang things from them. I use them oftentimes as a method to hang up tools that I don't want to lose, but that I don't want to keep, having take up inventory space since they're non-stackable. So that's kind of nice. What they're really meant for is you can put things like zombie flesh on there and dry it into a food source. So in the early game, if you're struggling for food, make yourself some drying racks, put them on the side of something like this, and hang up that zombie flesh you may be getting from killing things on the drying racks. It works out very nicely as an early food source. Other than that, guys, that's going to be it for this episode. So, thanks for watching. Take it easy. If you like the video, like it for me. If you want to see more, subscribe. By all means, leave comments. Let me know what you think I'm doing right and what I'm doing wrong. Hopefully the episode's coming along good for you. Should be a massive upload of episodes this weekend to let everybody see how things are going and how things are progressing. If there's a specific spot in Blood and Bones where you're getting stuck or where you're not sure what to do next, let me know. I'll try to answer it for you. I'm not claiming to be a pro. I'm still learning a lot about this pack, but I am enjoying it and I have learned a lot about it. So, yeah. Other than that, guys, take it easy. I'll see you soon. I hope you had a great weekend. Or I hope you have a great weekend.